Ta-da!
Emotions. Our HUD for navigating reality. If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Nikola Tesla. Everything in life is vibration. Reality is merely an illusion, albeit a persistent one. Albert Einstein. When I was 5 years old, my mother always told me that happiness is the key to life. When I went to school, they asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up. I wrote down happy. They told me I didn't understand the assignment. I told them they didn't understand life. John Lennon. It is either easy or impossible. Salvador Dali. We have a built-in HUD. Emotions. Human beings have evolved with a natural, built-in, heads-up display. You're constantly being notified, but have you been taught to get the message, to actively use it to make better decisions? We feel hopeless when we're depressed, and unstoppable when we're overjoyed, and the nuances in between. Don't you think that scale serves a purpose as we experience it? It's science, and we've reality re-explained it. Before I explain how emotions are our natural HUD, and how to use it, let's go over the basics. First, what is a HUD? A HUD is a heads-up display, which is a manner of displaying a real-time notification about something, giving us a heads-up and giving the display its name. Next, what are known HUD examples? Early technological HUD examples are good old submarine radar screens and their blip dots, the gauges in the dashboard of any automobile, boat, or airplane, DMV and Delhi serving this number signs, analog and digital. Hopefully you get the idea. Modern technological HUD examples are smartphone notifications bar, video game on-screen maps, real-time vital signs, etc. Guidelines and proximity sensors on reverse car cams. Now, what makes our emotions a HUD? Everyday examples are real-time notifications, doesn't decide, interactive. Detailed examples are when I have an emotional reaction, a HUD notification, the emotion doesn't make a decision for me. It just notifies me. I can name specific emotions that I feel, and they generally feel the same to me when I feel them, and that is how I know I'm feeling it. I can feel more than one emotion at once, and when I make a conscious effort, I can even identify the individual feelings I am feeling all at once. The mind-blowing examples are, when I feel emotions that make me feel good, I also feel like more things are good, possible to achieve, exciting, which in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration are on the higher end of the spectrum. When I feel emotions that make me unsure, I also feel I cannot move forward and have less clear opinion on things, which, in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration, are in the middle of the spectrum. When I feel emotions that make me feel bad, I also feel like more things are bad, impossible to achieve, hopeless. And in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration, these are on the lower end of the spectrum. If these emotional signals were in a visual display before our eyes, as technological HUDs are designed, we wouldn't doubt it. What makes a HUD is real-time notice. It doesn't decide, but it's interactive. But how do we know our emotions are a HUD? Everyday examples are, we all, as individuals, just want to be happy. We all, as individuals, don't want to be controlled by our emotions. We all, as individuals, have the ability to change our emotions. I hope you're getting the idea. More detailed examples are, assuming I want to be happy, my level of happiness, or unhappiness, is a heads up to how close or far I am to being happy. Assuming I want the best experience out of my decisions, my level of happiness, or unhappiness, is a heads up to how close or far I am from being satisfied with my decision. Assuming I want to change how I feel about anything, my feelings are a heads up to how close or far I am from changing how I feel, etc. The proof positive examples are, things themselves have no natural power to form our judgments, Marcus Aurelius. And so it is our emotions that give us a heads up about our own judgment of things. Do or do not, there is no try, Yoda. And so emotions give us a heads up as to whether we're trying or actually doing. Learn to discern for yourself. Ra. It's emotions heads up that allows us to self-assess with clarity of mind and heart and soul, etc. As emphasized in the infographic, all emotions can feel big. Not all emotions feel full, and only some emotions feel empty. Are you running on empty, or are you running on full? Allow me to reiterate. Emotions are just a notification. Our thoughts are what triggers our feelings, and by then, we're simply being notified. My thoughts or your thoughts, whether we're thinking them in the moment or have them as preconceived notions, preferences, prejudice, beliefs, etc., because we've thought them before, we're only being notified of our own perceptions when we feel emotions. As a HUD, emotions give us variation to know our own minds and hearts, souls. No emotion is actually bad, but serves a purpose. A perfect, easy example is fear. Some of us like to be scared, and we enjoy the euphoria of still being alive and in one piece after. Love of haunted houses, scary movies, or roller coasters as examples. The contrast of our feelings is exhilarating, and there is a very real reason for that. Emotions, all of them, help us evolve. Evolving is exhilarating. As emphasized in the fictional ad, right now, most of us feel like our emotions could benefit from a translator. In the ad, I'm sort of making fun of what you think, say, stupid, troublesome roundabouts, really means that you're feeling annoyed and angry, and your feelings were triggered by your perception that the roundabout is inefficient and difficult to navigate. It is the perception that is giving you the feeling, not the actual happening. We know this because when we don't have a specific thought or perspective about something, we also don't feel anything specific about it. It is our thoughts, again, which provoke our feelings. Okay, how do we use our HUD? Everyday examples are, think of your emotion HUD like a gas gauge. Happiness is full. Despair is empty. The feelings even feel that way. And we all know we get better gas mileage on the first, fuller half of the tank. Use your HUD to keep aiming for full. Feelings like happiness, elation, joy, excitement, and satisfaction. But also hope, contentment, tranquility, relief, and, at least, indifference. To aim for full, follow Peter Pan's lead and think happy thoughts. It sounds silly, but it really is the most effective way. More detailed example: you suddenly feel upset or mad because someone said something upsetting to you. When using your HUD, you acknowledge the upsetting feeling is not telling you that that person should watch what they say around you. It is telling you that you should watch what you're thinking about whatever they said. Let me repeat that in another way. Because nothing, not even words or people, can reach into your mind and force thoughts or feelings into you, it is your own thoughts about whatever that make you feel the way you feel. Your HUD is just notifying you that your thoughts are, or aren't, in agreement with your preference to be happy. Let me repeat that in yet one more way. When your HUD notifies you that your thoughts on a given subject or thing aren't making you happy, you are the one who chooses to act on the notification or not, and your feelings will just get better or worse in direct proportion to your thinking, notifying you of your progress. In the fictional ad infographic, I have imagined for the top portion the emotion HUD translator having a holographic display with all sorts of graphs and decision trees to show one their progress in utilizing their emotions as a HUD. In the lower portion, I simply make fun of people believing that happiness is something that you find. So the stupid happiness finder doesn't work. Because happiness is a choice, and perspective is like a compass on a stone. It only moves in the direction you point it. Just use your emotions to tell you which way your compass is pointed. How about some real-life examples? Hurricane versus Sunshower example. It pisses me off when my twin insists on tactlessly blurting out her perspective of things without regard to other people's perspective of what she is saying. I do it too sometimes. Eek! Even knowing their emotions on any subject are related only to their own perception of the subject, I prefer the gentle approach, because I believe people can absorb the information better. As a sun shower nourishing versus a hurricane destroying first and nourishing what is left. So, when using my emotion HUD, I realize that when I get pissed off at my twin for this, it is really my HUD telling me that my perspective isn't making me happy. I may be getting pissed off at her, but it really isn't her I am mad about. You say, but she's the one carelessly blurting. And I say, yes, but I cannot control her, only myself. And so my anger tells me I can improve myself by improving my focus of this situation toward a perspective I can feel good about. You ask how, and my first answer is practice. It takes practice to immediately recognize your HUD and use it. In this example, in order to improve my own perspective of my twin and her blurting, I think to myself, she is the proverbial ripping off of the Band-Aid. And some people actually prefer it that way. Since neither she nor I have the capability to immediately read a person and know what their preferences are, the important thing is that she feels good being her, and I feel good being me. Our differences are natural and have their place in the world. Care enough to. Example. Sometimes I despair that my twin doesn't seem to care enough to enter any number of things I wish she would do or say, which would give me the feeling she cares. She admits to having had the same feelings of me, and in that, we were able to really identify that the despair comes from our own perspective, and not from whether the other person actually cares or not. When using my emotion HUD, I realize when I despair about my twin not caring enough to, what I'm really despairing about is that my personally formed expectation of care being shown in XYZ way isn't being met. When I use my emotion HUD, it makes it easier to then realize and ask myself, A. Do I think XYZ is some universal law of caring that everyone inherently knows and some people just choose to ignore? Seems ridiculous. Or B. Do I think I can change my perspective to allow for different manners of showing care? Seems way more reasonable of a rational being, doesn't it? Makes me feel better to think it, too. So I think to myself, my twin does care enough, too. And I list all of the things I can think of which my twin does, which I mostly don't do. And I am humbled to realize if we all showed how we cared in the exact same ways, the world would become very boring, and the value of those signs of caring would become less in the numbness we get from consistency. Again, my emotion just notifies me of my own perspective of things, and I choose to keep that perspective or change it, to feel better or feel worse. Well, I don't. Or, well, I do. Example. Sometimes I feel totally wall-struck and suddenly flabbergasted when my twin and I have fundamental differences in perspective. Literal do and don't differences. No matter what it is, I recommend reminding yourself that if we all said, I do, to the same things, we'd be the same person. Our differences are what make us uniquely us, and our similarities are how we connect. When using my emotion HUD, I realize my reaction to her opposing preference really helps me decide if my preference is flexible. The stronger my negative reaction, the less flexible my preference is in the moment. I could keep reiterating the same points, but the truth is, you're the only one feeling what you feel, or knowing which feelings give you the most satisfaction and joy. Focus on you. Be grateful when someone helps you define yourself by offering you that contrasting moment, that emotion you didn't like but made you pay attention to what you were thinking. Let it go, whatever it is, if it's not helping you define what you want and you're just upset or mad about it, because that's just building momentum for the things you don't want. Let it go. And that brings us to how I would like to conclude, offering you a basic in our emotional heads up. Number 1. If I am feeling emotions, I am alive and in a physical body. Heads up number 2. If the emotions come about gradually, that is in response to a current, present in the now thoughts, because I am establishing what I think about it, and therefore what I feel about it. Heads up number 3. If the emotions come about suddenly, instantly, a gut reaction, the easy button, that is in response to a perspective, established through previous thoughts, allowing the signal relay network that is my emotion physiology to be pre-established and practiced into speedy responsiveness I feel before I'm aware of thinking. Number 4. If an emotion escalates, regardless of how fast or slow, it is an indication of that thought, current, being sustained, followed to other similar thoughts, or consistently repeated, like a mantra or just in echo. With enough consistency, repetition, it becomes a gut reaction, a perspective, established thought, and I'll feel a number 3 heads up about it from then on. Heads up number 5, if the emotion feels bad or worse than bad, the thought, current, or perspective, established, is personally disempowering. Number 6, if the emotion feels good or better than good, the thought, current, or perspective, established, is of a personally fulfilling or empowering nature. If you can keep these in mind, ask and answer for yourself which heads up you're feeling, you'll discover that you are capable of controlling your emotions and using them to your advantage in life. Ta-da!
Thanks for watching!